Okay, in this video, we're going to look at four more functions. We're going to look at Vlookup, an if statement, Hlookup, and Xlookup. Now, they're all slightly different in each way, and I'm going to go through that just how they are. But I'm just going to show you how to do each of them one by one, so then you can apply that skill and then do it to the activity that I'll have set in a minute. The first thing we're going to look at is a Vlookup. A Vlookup is basically a search engine where you search your spreadsheet for information and it then gives you that information. So for example, in this scenario, we're looking for somebody called Sarah. And we're asking the spreadsheet to search the name Sarah and look from A2 all the way to E7. Okay? And we want it to look in the particular column, which is the fourth column, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, grade. We want to know what grade Sarah got. Okay? Now, if you're probably wondering, well, I can already see that she got an A. But again, this is a very small example I'm giving you, because when you do it for your do it for real in the exam, you're gonna have a much larger data collection to look through. Now, if I press enter, and the reason why we press false is because we want the exact answer. True means gives an approximate answer, but we want the exact answer, so that's why we put false in. Now, if I press enter, we'll get A. Now we can change this to show you another example. So I'll type this up again. So merge fields. Okay, now I'm going to look for Michael's grade. Okay, so we'll see what Michael got. So Michael's here. All right. So we're going to look at first typing the function, which is equals Vlookup. All right. And look, we get some options here now. It's saying who do you want to look, or what do you want to look for? We want to look for Michael. So we put speech marks MICHEAL and speech marks. Put a comma, and then we're telling it to look in this table, which is here. Okay. We want it to be specific though. We want to say, look, we want you to look for the information in the fourth column. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Put 4. And then it's put another comma. And then look, it says here, look, do you want an approximate or do you want exact? We want the exact, so false. Okay. And then close bracket and press enter. We should get C. Oops, I've made a mistake. Now, this is really good that it actually happened, because you'll do this yourselves and you're wondering, what have I done wrong? You have to check the spelling. Can you see I spelled Michael wrong? So clearly, this is a good way to test to see if your data is working, because it'll come back and say it didn't work. So you'll get not any. So A, E, right? Okay, so press enter and we get a C, right? Okay, so that's a vertical lookup. That's what a VLOOKUP stands for, vertical. That means it's looking through vertical data. Now I'm going to come back to this in a minute, so don't worry about it. Now let's look at a horizontal lookup. A horizontal lookup works just the exact same way as a VLOOKUP, but you're looking through horizontal data going from left to right, just like this. Okay, and we'll do another one. This time we'll look for Sarah in this situation. So here, let me merge these. So I'm going to highlight this and merge this, right? So again, equals Hlookup. And like I said, it works exactly the same way. This time we're going to look for Sarah. So make sure I spell the name right. S-A. Okay. Speech marks, comma. Again, we're looking through this data. Okay. Now, this time we're saying the row, remember row, because the other one was column, the row index, we want to look for the grade. Okay. What grade Sarah got? So it's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so 3. Okay, comma, and again we want a false. Okay, and it gives A. I double clicked it by mistake, but look, Sarah, and she got an A. Okay, again, these are very small examples. Make sure you remember that the formulas up on there. Right. So again, these are very, very small examples. Right. You'll be dealing with much larger data setups. Okay. And then finally, the Xlookup. Now, the Xlookup we use when we want to look for data both left and right. Okay, so we want it to look in all directions. And for this one, we want it to look for a student of the age of the student with the grade B. Okay, and the way we'll do that is, I'll show you. Okay, equals Xlookup. and then I'll go ahead and fill this in. Now, for the XLOOKUP, you've got to make sure we're looking for the value. So if you remember from the one we showed you before, we've got to put that value in. Okay, so whoops, escape. So equals XLOOKUP. All right, so we're looking for the value. So let's just say, let's look up for the students' ages who got C. So we're going to do this, C, okay. Then it says, look in which tables you want to look for. So obviously we want to look in this table here, okay. Yeah. And then it says, oh, comma, that allows us to move up to the next one. So now return array, and then we put the name of the person, okay. Okay, so then we highlight this here, and then we close our bracket. And then if we press enter, it should tell us that the age of the students that got C was, whoops, let's double check this. So obviously clearly I made a spelling mistake somewhere. All right, so it says here which table and array. So obviously I've made a slight error. It should have been this one, okay. And this one should have been the age one, okay. And then we press enter, and then it gives us the answer. I just realized, obviously, I forgot to put in XLOOKUP there because I'm trying to do a HLOOKUP. So XLOOKUP, right? So hopefully you should need to delete this now. All right, okay, and press enter. There, 13. Wow, okay, that took far too long. Again, this is what happens when you rush. I need you to remind that rushing will cause errors. Now let's go back to the VLOOKUP and if statement. So this one, this is when you're creating conditions, okay? Now, a condition is basically when you're telling the computer, if you see this number, either write this or this. Now, we're setting a formula. We're creating a condition here that we're telling the computer that if the grade in here, if it's above or equal to 60, write pass or write fail. Okay, this is for us, or when a teacher, or when somebody's doing a business, or when somebody needs a spreadsheet to quickly work out what they've got, and they want to make changes to said data. That's the reason why they put something in there, because it will update it straight away, and it'll make life a lot easier. So if I press enter now, it'll say pass, and then if you drag from here all the way down, it will repeat that same formula. And it will repeat that same condition for all the other cells. If you look here, C5, C6, C7, right? And it'll update that same formula for all the rest of them here. So let's just go back here. Look, so it's equals if, and this is you creating a logical test, okay? Now, if we update it, so just imagine if Michael here goes and gets a 70 or a 65 even. And if I press enter, watch what happens to this column here. Turns into a pass because the conditions changed. Let me just change this back to 50. So that is what it is. You're setting a condition for Excel to carry out. So basically, just to recap, we've looked at VLOOKUP, if statements, HLOOKUP, and XLOOKUP. Now I want you to go now and complete the activity that follows this.